So I guess the big thing is starting with the fundamentals, making sure I'm approaching the game just in general from the correct perspective. If it doesn't matter what champions I'm playing, if I'm just playing the overall larger game itself wrong in the first place.
Sure.
I can be playing, it doesn't matter what champion I'm playing at that point. In addition, going a bit through builds and talking through and trying to, again, you said there are problems with some of the builds, and so I'm interested in figuring out what the problems you see with the build. And so
quick and dirty, your shoes are wrong. We're the Mobies, man.
So do we want to do that now?
I don't know. We can if you want, but
sure.
But yeah, we can go through this and like I want you to argue with me about it too, because again, you're a coach, I'm a coach. I might learn something today. But builds on champs look off to me, and you didn't know that. I pointed that out. So why? Let's argue. Okay. What else? Let's get the outline, and then we can pick something to argue about while we wait for a YouTube video to upload.
Sure. So, I mean, we can go a little bit into champion picks. Again, I've been picking Thresh, and everything else was kind of Thresh's band too.
Thresh is fine. Like he fits every team comp. So.
Right, and then it's fleshing out my secondaries because previous seasons I spam Morgana, but she's just not. She's not good enough to pick into every matchup anymore.
You have the same
in some previous seasons.
You have the same problem I do with Sejuani. Sejuani right now 46-47% win rate. Doesn't matter how good you play her, she is underpowered because Riot decided to make her Q have the same cooldown as an ultimate ability for other champions. So like you have the same problem. Morgana just not quite as strong as she has been in the past, so really tough to carry from.
Yeah, she's still a strong counter pick in some situations, but I can't blind pick her like I used to.
Yeah, like they're in the rock, paper, scissors kind of functionality, she can still counter pick, but like you can't just pick her every game and expect to win, right?
Which is unfortunate because that's what I did for previous seasons.
Yeah, sure. But that's fine. So, we can work around that. Who to pick besides... Do you want to stick with Thresh too? Looks like you got a bunch of games on him.
I'd like to stick with Thresh. Yeah, I think he's strong. I think his kit's probably one of the most overloaded to ever be put in the game.
There are a few champions that are described design-wise as like perfect. It's like Thresh, Orianna, like they just have everything set up so that there's like a high skill ceiling. They can do a bunch of stuff. Their abilities all make sense. I think like Lee Sin is another one. Like just really well designed things. Thresh is one of them. So it's good that you're playing him.
And then so I guess trying to think because I know those categories are pretty broad, but I think like it covers pretty much everything.
Yeah, like
the fundamental, the non-game, the non-champion specific stuff. And then
this is a 2-3 hour session, and I'm gonna make sure you get everything you need. So, like I'm fine with this if you are. We can do more. Also, like I'm assuming you want to not be hard stuck in plat, so we're coaching decline.
I would like to get to Diamond finally this season. I've been Platinum enough seasons. I'm currently higher ranked in TFT than I am in actual.
Oh no!
Which feels really bad.
That might be a problem. Why are you playing so much TFT, Packer? You know?
I spammed it when it came out, but I haven't played much TFT for the past month. Actually,
I was playing it a bunch when
stagnated.
When like my fiance was playing it. Now I think I'm like gold 3 in TFT or something. So
yeah, I'm sitting at plat 2 in TFT and plat 3 in regular thing, and that
might not be bad though. Like that's pretty damn high. Like you might be able to go pro in TFT. Like there's a few people that are like diamond in it right now that have like all the stream viewers.
Yeah, Scar.
Scara.
He's stuck in diamond.
I actually want to see, is TFT even like a thing that people care about still? Yeah, you can see my screen,
still
right?
Getting in money. I was looking at something. So Twitch finally dropped, but it's gonna stay around for a while because it attracted people who weren't League of Legends fans.
Sure.
To the game.
But okay, like right now it has 12K viewers, where before
12K viewers. Right. It dropped. It's not what it was.
It had like more, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and this will ebb and flow, but I'm just curious if it was sustaining or not. Noble says he's a TFT fan too. Yeah, I'm excited for them to put it on a phone, because then it'll be like just a fun, like random chance for fun mode. But yeah, okay. So higher in TFT than Summoner's Rift, which you coach. Let's fix that. Cool. I can work with this. What do you want to start with?
Well, let's start with boots, since you said you think the boots are wrong. I feel like that's a pretty easy starting point.
Okay. Because you
start
say
arguing
that, this is going to go into fundamentals, because the boots are wrong because of the fundamentals. So, I asked you what you wanted to start with. Because of the boots being the thing you want to start with, we're actually going to start with the fundamentals. But I want you to think why Moby boots matter. So, fundamentals. As a support, what is your job? This should be easy, right? Give me all the things.
I should be warding objectives and warding on the map, and generally supporting the team in however I can.
Sure.
I am not the carry. None of the champion. I don't play the damage support. I don't play the brand. Or the Lux or whatever. So my job is to assist the enemy team in destroying the Nexus.
Assist your team, not the enemy team, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Assist.
Okay.
Our
Good.
team in destroying the enemy.
Just checking. This would have been a really easy coaching session if that was what you were doing. So. Okay. So support job, vision for things, support the team however I can. Okay, that's super vague. Like.
Okay. So to clarify, is setting up. So part of that is the vision of setting up objectives, so that the rest of the team has the information they need to do. That's kind of falling into vision. If I'm talking about Thresh specifically, I should be balancing my time between looking for picks and protecting my backline, depending on what champions are on my team, to kind of assist in that endeavor.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put this as all supports too, just cause.
Yeah. And then kind of watching the kind of being the eyes on the map, because a lot of time, I don't have to do farming, so that should free me up to look around the map more, look at the game state more, in order to kind of assess what's going on and kind of try to help stop all of that.
Yep. Okay. I like this a lot. This is really good. All these things are true. We're going to go into the specifics, because like you said, set up vision. Okay, what are you looking for? This might be one of the things that's holding you back, because you could be setting up vision and it could be wrong. You could be setting up vision at the wrong time. You could be setting up the vision to do the wrong things. There is one major thing in solo queue specifically that is the support's job with vision. And I can have you guess a few times, or do you want me to just tell you? Like what do you prefer?
I mean, I can guess. I can make sure the enemy team's not stealing objectives, I guess, is the easiest one.
Okay, objectives like what?
Baron is generally the most important as the game goes on.
Sure.
Dragon's early game.
Sure.
And then making sure that you're not getting, your ADC isn't getting ganked, because usually the ADC is the most, sometimes half the time the ADC is the most powerful person on the team. So making sure they are alive and they have the tools to do what they need to do is important.
Yeah, right now in Season 9, whatever bot lane is ahead is going to win 80% of the time. So that is super important. All those things are true, but that is not what you are getting vision for. The thing you are getting vision of will accomplish all of those things, but it is not any of those things. I know I'm being kind of cryptic.
I am missing it then.
Okay. Who is generally going to be sneaking those dragons earlier? Who is going to be
enemy team jungler?
Yes. That is who you are tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm following you.
All right.
Follow the jungler.
No, and not follow, track. And a lot of that is the macro and shot calling. As a support, right, you're not last hitting like you said. That means you have more mental capacity to be paying attention to the map and warning your idiot teammates that they're about to be ganked. So, how do you track the enemy jungle? I want to start from here.
So, there are two. You can either find out where they are or find out where they aren't.
Yeah. Good.
Essentially, I mean, I know that covers all cases.
Yeah, but that's
by
good.
warding, you either know that they're there and you need to play back, or they're not there and you can play forward.
Exactly.
If they're not, generally, at the beginning of the game, you don't have a ton of range before you get your Sightstone item, so typically you just know whether or not they're at the dragon or not. And ganking your lane.
So that's because you are screwing something up. And this is something that if you watch Challenger games, like solo queue replays or on stream, and pay attention to where like Challenger supports are warding, you will notice something dramatically different in those games than in like your Platinum solo queue games. In Challenger games, everyone knows where the enemy jungler is at all times. And it sucks. It's the worst if you are a jungler like me. So when you say, I don't know where he is, I just know he's by dragon or not, that is telling me that you are not warding in the right spots. And again, I'm just trying to pick things apart, and I'm very excited for this YouTube clip to upload so we can look and see if I'm right. I might be wrong, and you're doing all the things correctly, and I'm just being a jerk right now. But this right here might be enough to flip you into a positive win rate. Okay. Are you with me so far?
All right. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So this find out where they are is great. Find out where they aren't is great. I think where you're warding, you're finding out where they aren't a little more often than where they are. So I want to focus on this bad boy. Just find out where they are a little bit, okay?
All right.
I'm going to send you a link to Rift Kit.
All right.
In Discord. And then I would like you to join me. Alright, let me know when you're in here and you can see the things.
It is taking just to load.
Sure.
I am. It's halfway there. The page is almost there.
Oh, weird. I love this.
I'm sucking up. My internet's getting sucked up to. It's getting pushing. All right, there we go.
Okay, cool. Purpose of this, I want you to click and show me things. But all right. What team do you want to be? Blue or red?
Blue, because I think blue is slightly more difficult for the bottom lane on this side. For the bottom lane.
Yeah.
I think blue side is slightly more difficult.
I think you're right too. Okay, so show me where you normally ward, and then tell me why you're warding there. Do you know how this works? You click the green eyeball.
Yeah.
Depends on fantastic answer. I love it.
So what time of the game are we talking?
Let's start early game. First 10 minutes of the game. You only have a couple of wards. Your first back, right?
Right. So you're gonna. It depends on how the lane is going. So if I'm getting pushed up, I try to get a ward right about here. I try to throw it. You can kind of throw it over this wall a bit. It takes a bit of finesse, but you kind of get it there.
So
what it does is it shows you
when you're saying you're pushed up. Where are the minions? Can you like draw the line of scrimmage for me? Here, I'll erase mine.
Sure.
Because when you're saying pushed up, some people mean that as I'm pushing it into the tower.
If this is the enemy minion wave, or if this is where the minion waves are crashing, and so we're stuck near our turret, I like to throw something out there. That gives us coverage of the dragon without just kind of end coverage of them coming into lane, without just throwing it into the pit and only seeing what's going on in the pit. So while it is possible that a jungler could come around this way and then go into the pit that way, it's not nearly as likely that they would take that path. Usually they'll come straight this way or come straight through here. So what this does is it lets me see them coming out of this jungle entrance here. And if they're not jumping into here, so depending on exactly where you put this. So if I put it like right there-ish, I'll also see if they miss the blast cone and don't land in the bush. You can see them like hop over with that.
Yeah, sure.
And so it kind of gives me as much coverage as I can in this area.
Okay, this is a really bad ward. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to keep telling me about where it is? I will tell you why. If you're pushed up and you're right here, is this a good gank for the enemy jungle?
I mean, it's not a good gank, but it's the best they're going to get.
Well, no, it's not the best they're going to get. There are two other lanes, right? So you have to think. Theory. Well, I mean, every game there's two other lanes.
Right. Sometimes the junglers will tunnel onto a lane. So it's about being as safe as you can, assuming that the jungler is tunneling onto your lane.
Oh, yeah, but hear me out. Hear me out. If you are right there in lane, will most junglers gank you? Some will. Some are idiots and will tower dive level 3, level 4.
Probably not.
Probably not, right?
Probably not.
Like 90% of the time, no. So if I'm a jungle and I have my camps up here, and then up here, and then I have a bunch of idiots over here that are doing things like this, am I going to even walk over dragon?
Probably not, unless you're specifically tunneling on dragons.
Yeah, and so this is a good ward if you're up against like a Nunu or a Shyvana, like something that really wants dragons. But like most of the
Yeah.
junglers right now are gonna be going for blood here, or up here instead of looking for the ocean dragon or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a bad ward just because most of the time doesn't make any sense. Because if you're right here, it's no good. Now here, tell me, if you're like up here, is this a good ward?
It becomes better. I would still shift the placement some.
Yeah, where would you want it?
So it depends on how my mid lane is warding. If my mid lane is warding towards the bottom side, I'd almost kind of want to throw it. I mean, in a perfect world, I'm throwing it right there.
Mhm.
Because that lets me see a little bit of them coming this way and coming this way. If I just throw it over the wall, use the pink word for now. If I just throw it kind of like right over the wall here, they can sit here and they can move quick, and it also doesn't cover any of the river.
Yeah.
And almost all of my ADCs only ward the lane bushes here.
Yeah, because they're
They
idiots.
right. So I have one ward for the whole area.
Yeah, for the most part, you have this, and then there's a blast plant, right? Like,
right.
These are the three entrances to the river.
Right. And so I put this one here, generally lets me see 2 and the blast cone. Now it's not, again, this is only using one ward.
Mm-hmm. All right. So hear me out. This is a shitty ward too.
Yeah.
Where would be better? And I left 2 hints up for you.
So this one covers
this one right here. This is a shitty ward too. It's not as bad as it was when the enemy had pushed you up, but it's still bad. Like this is good. The fact that you're like getting pissed at me and that you're quiet and you're thinking, like I think we might have found something.
I'm not upset.
Okay,
I'm
good.
Just trying to push back.
Good, push back.
I mean, I guess so. This one is better because it covers anything coming from this way or from this way, but it leaves open the blast cone and it leaves open any path around the backside.
It does.
Now, generally speaking, most of the junglers I come across don't take the time to path around back here.
Mm-hmm. Like sometimes you'll get a Hecarim or a Kane or something shitty, but usually not, right?
Mm-hmm. And generally, as long as I'm popping the blast, like you should be popping the blast cone, because as Thresh I can just throw my lantern over the wall and then click on the blast cone.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives me the vision for it. So I shouldn't necessarily have to be always constantly guarding for this blast cone itself.
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
So that means the most important entrances are the ones that come through here.
And those are important. But that blast cone thing, the Thresh lantern, let's say you're playing Nautilus. This Nautilus doesn't have a lantern to throw over. There is still a better ward that will cover the blast cone too.
I mean, I can try to put one there, but that's really dangerous.
Not correct. Yeah, and it's because it's dangerous. That one's wrong. You want me to just tell you?
A bit too close, though.
Nope, that one's horribly wrong. All right. First of all, let me set it up this way. We're in Platinum, right?
Sure.
We are not playing against like Challenger level Savant, 3,000 LP monsters. We're playing against like your average idiot. Put it right here. Mm-hmm. Why right here?
So that one gives you vision of their camps and lets you see them coming through Blast Cone or through that side of the river. Mm-hmm. Also, in general, when you're pathing from base, sometimes it'll take you around. Sometimes it'll take you around this way, but a lot of times the auto pathing will take you this way first, and then they'll path themselves around manually.
Yep.
So you'll also pick them up from that direction.
On this side, these 2 wards are the best possible wards you can get.
Right.
Why?
But that's also incredibly difficult because it gives you vision. These 2 block every entrance the jungler is coming down in, mm-hmm. unless they're doing some weird lane shenanigans.
Yeah, and if they're doing some weird lane shenanigans, that means your like mid laner's AFK or dead or something, right?
Right. So the difficulty with getting this one up here, because I used to do that one a lot, is that it's also dangerous to get to here, especially if you happen across the jungler. Usually the bottom lane collapses pretty quick.
Yeah, I agree.
So that means you have to have a reason. You have to, in order to ward there, you have to feel like the jungler isn't there. Which,
Or
if you're not going on information, is difficult.
or hear me out. You're really fast because you're buying different boots.
Okay.
All right, so those Moby boots that we mentioned here. Let me just show you the stats. Most supports will rush these. They'll get the upgraded support items, so they get the extra gold, right? And then they will get these. They are very cheap. They're 900 gold, and they give you 115, flat movement speed when you're out of combat. You were getting Ninja Tabby. If you look, you have 45 flat movement speed. What boots do most junglers get?
It kind of depends.
Yeah, but not Mobies, right?
No, they typically get Mercury Treads or Ninja Tabbies, depending on the composition of the
sometimes Sork Shoes, sometimes Ionian, every once in a while Swiftness if they're up against an Ashe. But if you look at these, 45, 45, 45, 45, 55. The reasons that all good supports will buy these is so they can get these super deep wards and then get away safe because they have 3 times the movement speed that any other champion that can kill them has. Now, you will get caught going for these wards sometimes. Like, you're gonna, walk in to do this, and the jungler's gonna be sitting right here waiting for you because they have a ward here. That's gonna happen sometimes. It's fine. That's part of, the learning process, figuring out what side of the map they're on. And sometimes it's okay to die there because, cool, now your AD carry backs off and, they don't die to the gank that was coming. But generally, you want those Moby boots so you can get in, ward there, get in, ward here, get out. Also, another path you can do, you can go to gank mid, ward up here, and then you can ward over this wall right here. Not as good because you can't see the Gromp, but it still covers, that blast cone because most people will path this way. They won't path this way. Just the way Riot will take you. So these are very safe. You pop there, cool, no one's in there trying to kill me. Put a ward over here. You have both entrances covered. You are also tracking the enemy jungle on this half of the map. So remember what we said at the beginning. Find out where they are, find out where they aren't. What does this tell you?
It tells you it tells you what half of the map they are.
Yes, good. Okay, if you have that same ward here and here, does that tell you what half of the map they're on?
No.
No, not
it
at all.
tells you whether or not they're going for dragon or invading. It tells you it's a defensive ward set instead of an offensive ward set.
Exactly. In solo queue, we are offensive. We are making a difference. We are proactively doing some bullshit because if we don't, our teammates are going to feed.
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
Yeah, generally speaking.
All right, so let's say you see the jungle up here. What are you guys going to do bot?
Well, if our jungler's in the area, we try to bait a 3v3 or something. If not, then we either collapse on them with our mid lane or jungler, or we pull back.
Yeah, and honestly, the answer is it depends. You want to look and see who has priority to figure out if you are the stronger, weak side of the map. So if your mid lane looks like this, bait that shit. Make sure you ping that he's there. Ask for mid to come, Cool, go murder him. Especially if your jungler's on this side of the map. If not, if you're playing your Thresh, instead of up here looking for hooks, you're back here.
Yeah.
Right? And you're saving your W cooldown. So your AD carry can misclick your lantern and die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Does the boots make sense?
Yes, I see why you would want to take Moby boots.
Okay, that's one reason. The other reason is you can be everywhere on the map. It makes ganks easier, especially on a champion like Morg or Thresh that has a very big hitbox hook. Other reason that you want to have Mobies. Let's say your jungler is an invadey aggressive type, like one of those Lee Sin players. Oh, he sees the jungler up here, half health doing a camp. He pings that he wants to go in. Your lane looks like this. What can you do as Thresh with Mobies?
You can run up to assist.
Yeah, you can run up to assist.
Throw a lantern when he feeds.
Yeah, throw a lantern so he doesn't feed, or you can get there super fast and land the hook and get the kill.
Mm-hmm.
Again, these are playmaking wards. This also
Right.
keeps the entire map safe. Jungle is here. What can top do?
He can play aggressive.
He can go all in, and he's not feeding if he does it. If you have the same wards, but they're down here, can top play aggressive?
Not really.
No, because he doesn't know where the jungle is. Will he play aggressive? Probably. And then the jungler will be here half the time, and he'll die half the time, and then you'll lose half your games. Here,
Mm-hmm.
he can play aggressive, and it's smart. He won't know why it's smart, but it's smart. Also, if he's playing aggressive and you don't see the jungle here, what should you be doing?
We should be playing aggressive or looking to take dragon, depending on the circumstance.
Remember number 5 over here, macro and shot calling that you told me?
Mm-hmm.
You're a support. What should you be telling your top laner to do?
Play safe so we can go. So he doesn't feed.
Yeah, danger ping, danger ping. Jungle is top. Jungle is top. Play safe. Usually, your teammates will die once or twice, and then they'll start listening to you. Like, I'm a little salty when this happens. I'll type, be like, "Did you not believe me?" And then I have like this sad moo emote. And then I'm like, "I just want you to stay alive, friend. I love you." You know, I'm really sarcastic with it, but I try to do it in a way where they can't be mad at me. But
Yeah.
but in doing that, they'll start listening to you after the second one, usually. And then you won't have like a Lee Sin with like 10,000 gold worth of items that he shouldn't have from just farming your top laner the entire time.
Mm.
Okay. Now, other thing. Yeah, if he's not here, sure, Dragon's fair game. You can go aggressive here. If your jungler's in the area, you can look for a dive and it actually makes sense. All those things are fair game too. But remember, you need to support the team however you can. By doing this, you are tracking the enemy jungle and you know exactly where he is. He is somewhere up here. Which means that this lane and this lane need to play safe, especially if your jungler is down here, because 3 versus 2, 3 is bigger than 2. They have the strong side, you have the strong side down here. Up here, they need to play safe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand strong side, weak side?
The strong side is the side where you have your duo lane.
Strong side is the side where you have more champions. Duo
Right.
lane, there's 2 champions here, there's 2 champions here. That counters it out. Think of it like an algebra equation. 2 on each side, cancels out. Net 0, right? Let's say your jungler's over here. 2 plus 1 is 3, minus 2 is 1. You're plus 1. This is the strong side now. Their jungler's here.
Mm-hmm.
3 and 3 cancels out, 0. This is not the strong side. This is a neutral side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here it's just whoever is stronger, like power spike wise, or who has bought an extra item, or who has an ultimate off cooldown. Then you can start getting into the micro, like decimal point kind of strong side calculations that pro players use. In solo queue, don't do that. How many champions do they have? If you have 1 or more, cool. You can make plays. If you have less than that, don't. It's a bait. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So up here, who has the strong side? Looking at this side of the map.
Currently it's red team.
Red team, exactly. So when they have the strong side as a support, anytime you see your idiot top laner pushing up and doing this, you need to be pinging them back, and they'll probably mute you if they're bad. But you need to be like, jungle is top, play safe. More often than not, they'll go down, get a ward, see the jungler coming to murder them, back off, give you a thumbs up. If they like go to tower dive or whatever, and then jungler kills them, then you do your sad Amumu song and dance, and you make it so they listen to you next time. And if they don't, sucks. Hopefully you make a big play bot when the jungler shows top.
Yeah.
But all of this comes from these aggressive wards, and then you being loud about where the jungler is because you see that he isn't there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, like you said, this also unlocks dragons. So cool. If the idiot jungler's top, all infernal dragons up, great. Your top laner just did you a favor. I'll trade a top laner for an infernal dragon all day, any day, especially if I'm getting my 80 carry fed as a support, right?
Right.
Okay, I want to do the same thing. You are red side. Where are you warding?
If I am red side, so if ideally I'm warding I get if I have
I'm gonna be really rude and just tell you you're wrong. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Horrible, horrible, horrible wards. Now, if the bot lane is here and the jungle is here, you don't even need to ward because you see them, right?
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had it set up wrong. Let's say it's like this, and you have a chance to ward, or hey, everybody just reset, and you're back in
If they
lane
just,
faster than your AD carry because you bought Moby boots first because you're a good support player. Where are you warding?
well, if I'm really good, I'm there.
Good. Where else? You have
Uh,
two.
yeah,
Good.
those are the
Perfect.
two. If I'm lucky, usually I can't. I almost never am able to get out here to ward,
Cool.
but I'll usually path through here to get this one. If I'm getting pressured a lot, then I'll do if I'm like, getting really pressured, I'll just do here and then back out.
Okay, so
Again, it's not as good, but
Moby boots. I want you to be more aggressive. I want you to buy Moby boots, and we're gonna do this route. Okay. Look for a gank
okay.
mid. Nothing there. Pop in here. I usually throw lantern in here just to check, make sure no one's in there. But you can do this if you're not feeling safe, and then you can put one here. So if you know that like the enemy jungle's top, you can move these to those bushes. This is ideal because you can see everything. But just to be safe, put one here, put one like here. And you can put it like here or here. Like the point of it is you want to be able to see like this. Okay?
Okay.
And with Moby Boots, remember, like it's gonna be real hard for them to catch you. And as Thresh, you have a lot of options. There's usually a blast plant here. It's a lot safer than it looks to like get in there and do the thing. Now, obviously, you're not doing this if like the map is completely black and you have no idea where anybody is, because then you're empty. But you're looking for a window where, okay, bot lane just backed, mid lane has priority, so he can come help me out. Yeah, I can get in here and get some deep wards. You're looking for that kind of situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you see it?
Yes.
All right, let's say that it's that situation, because this is something I forgot to do before. Let's say you're pushed up like this. You have two wards. The map is completely dark down here. Where are
I
you
get 2
warding?
wards?
Yeah, you have two wards right now. Where are you warding? And bot lane's aggressive. They're trying to shove you into tower. Where are you warding? Ooh, okay. Why?
A lot of times if blue side is pushing up a lot, the place your biggest threat is going to come from a lane gank usually, because a lot of times people often have these warded, and so I see all the time people just try to shuffle in lane. So the minute we've kind of pushed a wave forward and we start stepping, like if a wave resets, like if we've been pushed up like this and a wave starts to reset, red side will often, as now that both waves are going to crash together, they start moving forward again, and then the jungler is often right in that bush and is going to pop out.
Yeah, he's
So
chilling
while
like
they
here or
can come from
here.
this direction, right? So doing this helps you in. It also lets you see when the enemy team is going to back, because that lets you know when you can step forward,
Okay, that's not
or
a
go ward and stuff.
bad one, but it's going to be hard to get if you're shoved up. I think the point I'm trying to cover is that you don't really need to ward in this situation at all. I would save it.
Okay.
Okay, and if you can get this one, yeah, you'll be worried about a lane gank, because sometimes people will do that. Bot lane is super important. But you really don't need to. And we're playing Thresh, right? Like you have lanterns for that kind of
Right.
thing. I was wondering if you were setting up a teleport play for your top laner. Like that's kind of
Top
cool.
laners don't teleport bottom lane. They
But
don't do that in platinum.
but they don't do that. And also more often than not, they'll screw it up, and then enemy AD carry will get like a triple kill or something. What I'm
Yeah.
trying here, it is actually good if you like go over here and get your defensive ward here.
Mm-hmm.
So like these two wards, pretty good. Like if you can get this one, like usually this is more like one of these, right? And you're super worried that the jungler is gonna like all in you when you're placing that one. So ideally you have these, but if they're hard shoving you in, like if it's a Sivir or something that's just gonna shove the lane in no matter what, and you're just a tower all day, hey, your AD carry's safe. You can't really leave. Do the thing, and then when they back off to like reset, like when it's like best friend sword time, that's when you move out and try to get those wards that we talked about earlier.
Gotcha.
Makes sense?
Yep.
All right, let's do the same thing, but blue side, okay? I'm going to refresh this real quick. Okay, you're blue again. Same situation where you're shoved in. Where do you want to ward? Or do you want to ward?
I want to throw a ward over the pit.
Why?
At the very least. I want to have some sort of vision of dragon in case the enemy champion is strong enough to solo dragon by themselves. Because often, if you're getting pushed in bot, a lot of there's you can also be being pushed in mid, and if you're getting pushed in both lanes, it's very easy for the enemy team to rotate and take the dragon, or just hold their own lanes and let their jungler take the dragon by themselves.
So,
depending on the champion.
So let me ask you, okay, both lanes are shoved in, can't leave tower. You warded up here in the pit. I actually like your ward here too, like in this situation, to see the dragon. Hey, he's on it. Can you do anything about it?
You can try to steal over the wall.
I mean, you could. So here, your jungler's here. What happens if he steals over the wall? Jumps in.
I throw the lantern.
Okay, just because you're playing Thresh, I'll give it to you.
Typically, it's just trying to support, or even just a lot of times you can just feint that you're fighting, and people will back off for a second, because they even though you're in a weaker position, sometimes they react. The baseline reaction is that things are even. It takes a split second for them to remember. Oh wait, I'm up 3 kills and 2 items. Now that doesn't work, later, but at the start, sometimes just the presence of having an additional person there can spook the enemy.
All right.
And get them to pull back a bit.
Okay, so that's something, but what if, hear me out, what if you just didn't ward? Is here, let's say the jungler jumps in and you're ready with your lantern. He goes for the steal. It's a 50-50 at best because like the mid laner is helping.
Right.
Cool. He gets the dragon. You pull him out. Bot lane collapses on you. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in that situation. What happens if you just let him have it and you keep the map dark?
If I don't let them have it, if I let them have it, keep the map dark. One, it takes some time to take dragon, so your top laner doesn't get to know that they're on the dragon. That means they don't know whether or not they can play up.
Okay, I like that.
You assume top lane also doesn't know how to ward.
Of course they don't know how to ward. It's solo queue in North America. They don't know how to ward.
So if I don't
That's a good reason.
That there's, like if I can't ensure that someone that we know where he is, I can't prove that he's on dragon, that means he could be top and could be killing our top laner.
Yeah,
or
he could be anywhere.
Topside and ganking me.
Okay, so here.
So that at least gives a modicum of vision and helps for an objective.
Okay, so hear me out though. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
If you have this here, okay, cool. You see the jungle. Top lane can go aggressive. I like that. That makes sense. What if you don't see the jungle there?
It doesn't give you that much information.
So early game, the ward cooldowns are insanely high. Like we're still in that first 10 minutes, right? You don't have your Sightstone quest done yet, so you don't have wards from that. You're just relying on trinkets and pinks, and like if it's the first 5 minutes of the game, you probably haven't backed and bought a pink yet. So
yeah, probably.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. So if you put this here, it protects the dragon, sure. Dragon spawns at 5 minutes, right? So it'll protect it for like 60 seconds. It doesn't give you a lot of information. It doesn't really keep top lane safe. If anything, it just lets him go aggressive if the jungle shows up on the ward. And kind of like what we talked about earlier, probably not going to show up on the ward, unless he just really wants the dragon and not like a gank somewhere. We talked about that at the beginning, right?
Right.
I would say this is a waste because your warding cooldowns early are so high, and you want to be getting the wards that we talked about, right? Or the one here, if you want to ward here and then over the wall.
Right.
So I would argue just don't do this at all.
Okay.
Now, another reason for that too, jungle, their job is to kind of keep dragons safe. So like this guy has wards, he can ward over the pit. And if he's yelling at you to do it, just mute him. Be like, oh, it's on cooldown. Sorry. Visual bug. I don't know. Tell Riot to fix their shit. I don't know why it says my trinket's up. And then when bot lane backs, get these 2 wards. That'll keep your entire team safe and let you track the jungle for the next 7 minutes.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay.
I want you to try it out. See if it works. And when we watch that game, if it ever uploads to YouTube, we can check.
It seems to have slowed down since I'm doing Discord.
Of course it did. I can unscreen share if that'll help too. But worst case, I can play a game of solo queue. We can come back when it's uploaded and we can watch. We can do a part 2 coaching session.
That may be the easier thing just for the stream.
Yeah, sure.
We can finish the fundamentals, or the kind of procedural stuff. Play
Okay.
solo queue game break, and then hop into the video probably.
All right. So this right here, this vision for things, track the enemy jungle. I want you to focus on this. This will help you climb. I've shown this to a few support players, and they have climbed significantly once they've started doing this. Like people that were in gold hit diamond. You're in plat, you're a coach, you know a ton of shit, you know how like team comps work already. You are already ahead of these people. Like I think this is just one thing that you're missing from solo queue because you're so used to competitive where people actually all do their jobs and play smart because they're trying to keep their scholarships. So
except your ADCs.
Except your ADCs because they need to use all their brain to last hit. It's hard. I get it. Mechanics, it makes sense. All right.
Yes.
So here.
Yeah.
This right here, I think will solve most of your problems. This supports your entire team because, hey, the jungle's here. These 2 lanes are safe. You're safe. You know where he is. Hey, he's not here. These 2 lanes are safe because you know he's here and you're danger pinging these 2 spots because he could be there. Right? And that'll force them to ward. This also sets up objectives. Hey, he's not here. Your jungler can come in and sneak that dragon that you were so worried about earlier. Cool. A bunch of things there. And also the picks and backline protection as Thresh. Jungler's not here. What can you do? You can push up and look for hooks, right? Oh, jungler's here. We just watched him walk down here and go into the fog. Are you like pushed up in front of your AD carry going for the enemy who's dancing for some reason? Or pretending to DC? No, right? Because it's a bait.
Right.
Now you're playing back here with your lantern on cooldown, or off cooldown, waiting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then the macro shot calling, hey, the jungle's here, Rift Herald's open. Jungler, go get Rift Herald. You can do things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like this as the fundamentals. I'm wondering if you're not doing this well enough early game, just because I'm like looking through this and I don't see the Mobies, which allow you to do this. And I'm seeing like a lot of deaths on every game.
Yeah, so it is. I would take 1 death. I don't know. I at the end of the game, even when people are like, when we're losing the Nexus, I still go in and fight, even if I'm gonna die. I know we're gonna lose all 5, but that's not the story of these games.
Okay. And
I shouldn't be getting to that point,
Like, even if they're at your Nexus and you're doing that, like, this is still a lot of deaths. Like, for a 20-minute game, This is a lot of deaths. For a 36-minute game, this is a lot of deaths.
So again, some of those are games where I had AFK trolls, but yeah, I shouldn't be dying that much anyway.
I play on this server too. I understand. You don't have to explain yourself to me. I know that there are games like that. I'm just noticing that it is pretty consistent. I'm noticing that your boots are the non-safe ones. So this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm offering up as a way to fix it.
Right.
So the builds. A lot of these are, like on your Thresh, it looks like you are going Sightstone into Knight's Vow. Is that correct?
It depends on who my ADC is.
Okay, that's good.
If I think I think they can utilize Zeke's active, I go for Zeke's. If I don't, I generally go for Knight's Vow.
Okay, because I'm looking and I see it like every game. And like Misfortune can't use Knight's Vow that well,
But she can't use Zeke's at all.
Yeah.
So again, it's just so the Knight's Vow again is tanking the damage from them and then having them do damage, and I heal that back up.
So hear me out.
So
Hear me out again.
Okay.
Hear me out. What if you didn't build Knight's Vow, which is an item that requires your AD carry that you're usually binding to be competent and play the game correctly?
I would counter that it's one of the highest win rate items for supports in Platinum.
Okay, cool. Not your support.
That's a large part of pushing is following some of the actual the boots. I generally have always stayed away from Mobies, but the Knight's Vow is one of the most common, is one of the highest win rate items for a support like Thresh.
Is it? I don't think it is. Let's see. Let's see what op.gg says. Nope, it's not.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm using blitz.gg.
Okay.
It just auto import stuff.
Blitz.gg is a bad site, by the way. It is not correct most of the time. So you can use it if you want, but it is wrong more often than not. Again, you can use it if you want, but they are mining games in a way that isn't accurate more often than not, in my opinion, as a data scientist who has been building their own League of Legends coaching tool that takes data from every game.
Gotcha. So explain that one to me then, because that's like one of their first items. The first item is basically always Knight's Vow. They have it listed as one of the highest win rates.
So I would say it is one of the lowest win rate items you could build in solo queue. All right.
Okay.
Here's what it does. And we're still screen sharing, right? And let me just send you the link since you said your computer's being dumb. Apparently mine.
Yeah, we're still screen sharing.
Mine is taking a minute to load too. I'm worried that my internet is dying or something. Like I can't even click Chrome right now. Let me abort mission here.
Could just be bad.
Yeah, yikes. All right, let's try again. Let's try Leaguepedia. Maybe this will be good. Does it say what it does? Okay, it says what it does. This is good enough for me. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Leaguepedia, and we got some good chair ads too. All right, if your partner is nearby, gain 20 armor and 15% bonus movement speed. Okay, neato. Other thing, you get 250 health, you get CDR, you get armor. Cool. And if you're near your partner, this armor goes up to 60. So it's pretty gold efficient. That's not bad. But this is why it's shitty. The redirect 12% of the damage your partner takes from champions to you as true damage.
After reductions, yeah.
Yeah. And both effects are reduced if the item holder is ranged, so Thresh is ranged, so it's only down to 6%, but still.
I forgot about the ranged part of that, though.
Yeah, but still. Like, it doesn't matter if it's ranged or melee, because melee's doubled. Cool. The reason this is bad is because people below Diamond 1 generally don't know how to position correctly on AD carry. At least on the North American server that I play on.
Right, yep.
So they are going to get blown up and deleted, and because of that, 12 to 6% of the damage they take will be dealt to you, a Thresh, as true damage early.
But shouldn't my job be to prevent that from happening, specifically on Thresh, who has the lantern for the escape?
I agree.
Who has the crowd control to lock down anybody who dives on me?
Yeah.
So if I'm
definitely
playing well, that should be, regardless of how my ADC is playing, I should be, or again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the ADC, because I can swap that at any point. Because it's not an attack damage specific one. Mm-hmm. You can slot that onto your mid laner or your jungler, your top laner, whoever's fed.
Yeah, you can. So let me ask this: do champions do a lot of damage early? Generally,
you cut out. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do champions do a lot of damage or a little damage early game compared to late game?
Generally, they do a little damage early.
This is not a good item to rush early.
I guess my thought is, by the time I can finish my item after my gold generation item in my boots, most carries have 3 items.
Yeah, and remember, you're going to be
at the range release.
You're going to be rushing Mobies, so you'll have some extra gold because Mobies are cheaper than the other boots. So that's a little bit of gold back in your pocket already from that change. Other option here: what if you just picked one of the other 8 support items that keep your carry alive, that don't hurt you.
So it'd be Redemption, because
Redemption's a
Locket,
great item.
if I'm not, I can't take Locket, because if I'm not taking cooldown reduction boots, I can't also then skip out on cool reduction for my first item.
What are your runes? Why not?
I take the 5% CDR.
Cool, good.
The 5% CDR one.
And the scaling CDR?
I should be. Pretty sure I do.
Yeah, let's see.
Yes, because the numbers are. So I've got 2 different.
So that'll be you'll have 5% plus 10% from your support item. You'll have 10% scaling. So at like level 9, you'll have another 5%. So you're sitting at 20%. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I should be, by the time I'm level 9, I should have closer to 30%, especially if I'm playing someone like Thresh. Because basically, you live and die off of your hook and off of your ability cooldowns, because you're not doing any actual damage, and your ADC is going to run and kill themselves,
Sure.
really quickly. So you have to have the Lantern up faster, and you have to be able to hook in order to make the plays.
Sure. So hear me out. What if you did what I do on Sejuani when she got super weak, and you just build Glacial Shroud and Kindle Gym and sit on them?
Because you already get less gold, and then you're delaying your ability to get to a good to get to a completed item.
Why is completed item better? I thought you just said that you didn't want to build a completed item because you needed 40% cooldown reduction.
I do want to build a completed item. I don't want to build Locket as a completed item.
Sure.
First. I don't think I don't think
I'm gonna interrupt you.
I'm
gonna interrupt you. I don't usually do this. But completed item doesn't matter. What matters is getting the stats you need. Like there used to be a build that I did in the jungle where I would just get 4 Doran's rings because Doran's rings were different and you got more stats, and it actually made you the scariest champion in the game because you had the most stats for cheap. So on Thresh, I 100% agree with you that you need the cooldown reduction fast, so you want to get to that 45% cap. So Kindle Gym builds into a couple different things, right? It builds into Knight's Vow. It builds into your Sightstone thing, I think. I'm trying to remember. No, it doesn't do that anymore.
It does not.
It does not. You're right. Zeke's, you have Glacial Shroud that can build into that. If you want to do the Forbidden Idol type items, this can build into that. If you want to get like Spooky Ghosts, you can get the AP book. You have options, right, for cooldown reduction. Doesn't have to be Kindle Gym. Kindle Gym builds into a couple different things. You don't necessarily need it, but it is cheap.
Right. It by itself is a cost efficient item.
Yeah. So remember, you said it's tough on a support income to get stuff, right? Like all the support items are pretty cheap compared to other items because supports don't have as much gold, so you're doing that. But
right.
Knight's Vow, horrible item to finish early. Because if you do, your idiot solo queue teammates are going to make you die faster from the passive.
Okay.
If you look at the stats from all the games, like I've done, it is not an item to finish like first, second, third. It is an item to finish like 5th or 6th when your AD carry is actually like 5-6 items. All right, so there are a couple things I was seeing in your builds where you were just very consistently building the wrong boots because your support and your job is to like be everywhere essentially and covering the enemy jungle and wards. And then this Knight's Vow, like it's great if your team is positioning perfectly. This is solo queue. They are never going to position perfectly consistently. You have to plan for them to be idiots in DC or for their cat to jump up on their keyboard in the middle of a team fight. You have to plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking for items like Forbidden Idol, Kindle Gym, Glacial Shroud to get you to that 45% CDR cap. All right?
Mm.
And then that'll allow you the freedom to build your Locket. That'll allow you the freedom to build, like a Frozen Heart if you need it. That'll allow you the freedom to build, like you play a lot of Morgana. Zonia's is a great item on her. 10% CDR there. You have options.
Right.
Spooky Ghosts. That's great if you're getting, like, blown up and you can't walk into the fog of war to ward, right? Spooky Ghosts will tell you if anyone's there waiting to murder you. That's a super cheap item. Are you with me?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay, so for your build, Moby boots every game, and the main purpose of that was what?
To ward better.
Ward better, because it's dangerous in there. Well, if you have 3 times the movement speed of the enemy team, it's not. Also, that'll give you more gank opportunities because you're a support. You are allowed to roam and gank, and there are good times to roam and bad times to roam. When we watch your VOD, we'll go over that. But that's important too.
Okay.
All right, now, other piece. Don't build Knight's Vow. Let me rephrase. If you have an AD carry that's like 30 kills at 20 minutes or something, build Knight's Vow.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense, right?
If I've got a Smurf on my team.
If you have a challenger Smurf who's memeing on everybody, if you have Tyler 1 playing Draven on your team, build Knight's Vow.
So then question.
Yeah.
So then question here. At what point do I look at, for building Knight's Vow, at what point do I do stop looking at how my ADC is doing and start looking at how other people are on the map are doing? Is there a threshold at which I should stop caring about my ADC and start caring about other people around the map?
Yeah, this is actually a good game to look at it. Let's look at the damage that your team did. Champion kill, give me damage dealt to champion. So look at this. Who would you want to put Knight's Vow on this game?
Yasuo.
Yeah. That would be a good one, because it looks like he got fed enough that he could almost 1v5.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I'm sure if we look at his score, he's like 2-15 or something. But do you get what I'm saying? Like look at your AD carry. Oh no. Look at this mid laner who has like 10 kills. Might be good there, because if your mid laner is significantly higher than your AD carry, and like the only hope you have of winning the game is keeping them alive, and they're on some hyper carry, sure, do the thing. But you can also do the thing by, just giving them a shit ton of shields from all the broken support shield items that exist. And I know you're on Thresh, right? So like less than a Karma or a Lulu. But still, like, Locket is way better than Knight's Vow, in my opinion.
Okay.
Redemption is way better, because you don't have to be near them to use it. Redemption also does damage. Okay. You can also use Redemption if you're dead,
Yeah.
So get away from Knight's Vow. Look for things. Locket. Cheap CDR items. Look for, let's say Redemption too. I really like Redemption. One of the reasons Zoe is kind of broken from time to time is because she can just get random redemptions off of minions and then completely change a lane state just because she decided to heal up some minions that were about to die but now aren't. Which is weird to think about. Yeah, stuff like that, right? So another thing too, we're looking for playmaking things. Try building spooky ghosts. I don't see any spooky ghosts on your Morgana, and that saddens me. And I know you play her like a little more aggressively than most Morgana players, but it's not bad on Thresh either. He has a couple AP ratios. Not big ones, right?
Yeah, but his ult has an AP ratio. His E has an AP ratio on it.
Its ability power. His death sentence has AP. His E has AP. His alt has... I'm just saying, like, it's not bad to build AP on him. Just because people don't do it doesn't mean that it's not good. So, just something to think about, okay? The spooky ghosts are really, really good. They're one of the cheapest items in the game that do so much for what they give you. Like, here, can I sell you on spooky ghosts?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know what the actual item is called, so I'm hoping it, just like in the chat, it pops up in Google if I type spooky ghosts. And hey, Google doesn't disappoint. All right, remember how we were talking about how movement speed is like a big deal for like getting those dangerous wards? Yeah. Cool, 7% bonus movement speed on top of your Mobies is a lot, right? That's a lot. Tier 2 boots get 45 movement speed. If you have Mobies, that's 115, I think? 7% of 115 is like about 10, let's call it. Cool.
Sure.
This item gives you 1/4 tier 2 boots movement speed. Rounding, please don't crucify me for bad math. So, You get a bunch of ability power, so all your abilities will hit a little bit harder. Cool, your support doesn't matter that much. Cooldown reduction. Hey, we were just talking about that. Oh, look, 2,400. It's real cheap. And then this right here will win you games. It'll stop your team from face checking. It will catch people that are caught out. It will allow you to land every hook or bind on Morgana Thresh if you lead with this, because they are slowed for, what is it? By 40% for 2 to 5 seconds based on distance traveled. 40% is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And for like a minimum of 2 seconds, do you think you can land a Morgana bind on someone that's glued to the floor? Probably. They're going to flash. Cool. If they're going to flash because you used an active that has a 90-second cooldown.
Yeah, that's worth.
Okay, are you with me? Do I need to keep beating this one into the ground?
Nope.
All right. Other thing,
I definitely should be doing that on Morgana, especially. Like, Thresh, yeah, but Morgana especially.
Other thing, too. Look at this. It's not 90 seconds. It's less.
Right.
I'm just saying. Get it. Get it on Thresh. Get it on Morgana. I'm going to give you this as homework, okay? Also, do you want to play a game? You can try this out.
We can, yeah, sure.
I can either jungle. I'm not a very good AD carry, but I'll play AD carry, and you can support me and see if you can carry my ass.
Jungle.
All right.
You can jungle. That works.
But I would look for not Knight's Vow. I would look for playmaking items. And if it's a team, an enemy team that's going to jump on your face, yeah, get like a locket or something, right? But if it's a team where you get to make picks, like get some spooky ghosts.
So I'm going to actually circle back to Locket. I think Locket is not a good first item on Thresh specifically.
It's a horrible first item on Thresh. I agree.
Because as Thresh, you need something that gives you HP. Because you're already generating armor from your passive.
Yep.
So Locket should definitely not be something I'm picking first or even probably second item.
So
depending on how the game state is.
So hear me out again.
Sure.
Don't think like that. As Thresh, your job is to set up and land hooks and be in the right place at the right time. Building health is a crutch. You've played enough support games. Like, cause I've seen that this isn't your first season. You've been playing this game for a while. And you're playing competitively in college. Don't do the crutch of building health. You're at the point where you can build like full AP or glass cannon and still do all the things and make plays. Especially in League of Legends Season 9 where no one plays tanks. Like, I bet, like, if we look through your games, here, let's look through your ranked games. Let's count the tanks. I bet maybe 10% of your games have one. Oh, and the first one has like 2 tanks on the enemy team. Neat. Okay, so here's some tanks. Oh, wait, never mind. He built glass cannon. They had 1 tank. All right. Here, this Braum game. Maybe the Leona.
Full AP.
Nunu went full AP. Cool. This one, no tanks. This one, maybe the Nunu went full AP again. I don't know. Yep, full AP.
Yes.
Looking at the enemy team.
That's on our team, though.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say
Malphite
is...
went full AP.
Malphite went full AP. Right now in Season 9, no one is playing tanks because you lose if you play a tank, because everyone is bad in playing glass cannon burst damage things, and you can't really tank when your team just dies instantly. So hear me out. Don't do that. Do the thing that will allow you to set up and get picks and allow your glass cannon burst damage people to punch first and kill the person, and then they can be raging at their team while they're on cooldown. All right. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
No, I agree. That makes sense to me.
Okay. Knight's Vow and health items are coward items that don't work in Season 9. They are for good players that know what they're doing. We're in NA solo queue. You got to embrace the fiesta. Nuh-uh. We're adapting our play to be stronger. So, Moby Boots, to be everywhere on the map, to tilt the enemy mid laner, because you're going to be roaming up there a bunch when you're on your way to, like, put deep wards in the enemy jungle so you can track their every movement and then invade with your jungler, who is also building glass cannon on every tank for no reason. But hey, cool. Now you see him like at half health on his Gromp. And you can go there, land a hook over the wall. He'll be like question mark pinging his bot lane while this happens. It'll be great. Spooky Ghost to set things up versus Knight's Vow, which just kills you faster when your enemy team when the enemy team picks off your carries that are mispositioning because it's solo queue in North America and no one knows how to play correctly. Again, we are adapting playstyle to bad players that are not going to position properly. All right?
Gotcha.
Okay. Your champ pool, we were going to talk about that. I like Morg Thresh. I think that's fine. Morgana's a little bit weaker.
She's a counter pick champion.
She's a counter pick champion, but Thresh is really strong because he can do all the things. Morgana can kind of do some of the things, like she has that good bind, she has that good disengage with her ult. But if you play Morg, I want you to stop building Zonias. And I know that's like blasphemy to Morgana players, but can you think why?
I mean, the argument's going to be that you're wasting the stats on things that could go to support the team.
No, the argument's going to be that it's expensive. Isn't it like 3,000 gold or something? I started building it on Jungle Shyvana, who I'm also building AP. So.
I think it's 3,250, but I have stopwatch already, and I need to pick up the Phoenix Codex gives me the 10% CDR already, so it's something I was going to build.
Okay. So it is.
Sorry, 2,900. I have a stopwatch already, so that's 2,300.
Okay, 23 is pretty cheap. I could see that. But
generally what happens is I often on Morgana support I find myself getting focused.
Mm-hmm.
Now it could be I'm just out of position all the time.
Yep.
Which is a real possibility. But the idea that if they're focusing you, they're not focusing the carry, but the Zhonya never dissuades them from going.
Let me stop you. Let me interrupt. Your Zhonyas will make them often focus the AD carry instead of you because you have a Zhonyas. Also, it's still okay. And hey, your game, not mine. But here, that's not my main point.
Right.
Not my main point.
Okay.
It does not let you be aggressive. This kind of baits you into flash alt Zonyaing the enemy team. Like, sure, that's aggressive. But
I don't have enough AP to do that.
You don't have enough AP for that to work because you're playing a support champion who is a little bit weaker due to nerfs that Riot has placed upon her. So, instead of this, I want you to build Spooky Ghosts. I want you to get this. I want Twin Shadows. Okay?
Okay.
You still have your stopwatch. You can use that to bait the enemy team. You can still do that nice fancy flash alt stopwatch instead of Zhonyas because you get it for free. Great. But this item, every 85 seconds, because you have that CDR rune, will let you make a play. Will let you scout the enemy jungle when you're getting your deep wards with your Moby boots. It's better for solo queue where you are looking to make plays. This is a playmaking item. Zhonyas is not. Zhonyas is reactive. Someone is going to kill me, so I'm using the active. This is, I am looking for people, my two spooky friends, to go murder with my giant hitbox stun. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. It's a different play style than collegiate, where everyone is on the same page and playing safely. We are in solo queue. We are looking for the weakest link on the enemy team, and we are looking to catch them out over and over. This is a helpful item that will make them remember 40% slowed for at least 2 seconds, which will make it very easy for you to land a bind, and if they don't flash, you sure will. And then they die. And then you have a 5v4, and then you take something. This also keeps you safe if you're trying to get those deep boards. I'm just repeating it so it sinks in. So, okay. How often are Morgana and Thresh banned in Plat?
One of them, Morgana still sees a fair amount of bans. Thresh sees a fair amount of picks. Every game I ban Pike.
Yep.
I hate the champion. I
was gonna say, like, you should learn Pike. He's broken. If Riot won't fix him, play him until they do.
Right now, I have him banned every game, so he doesn't show.
All right, that's fine. Like, I ban Silas every game for the same reason.
My next tier down, if both of those are gone, my next tier down it's going to be entirely dependent on the lane. I would say the three I gravitate towards. Yep, Nautilus, Karma, and Leona.
Karma. All right, Karma Leona super.
Unfortunately, Karma hasn't been useful useful as a support for a while, but Karma and Leona are the two that if I have to default, if my top ones are getting picked out, I pick them just because of the amount of games I have.
Don't pick them. They're weak as shit right now. Okay? Just because we're adapting to the Fiesta. They're weak right now. Don't do it. What we are looking for are champions that can kind of fish for engages, and if they don't hit, cool. They're not really in any danger. Like Leona, if she hits, she goes in there. And if you pick the wrong engage, cool, you just lost Baron. Morgana and Thresh, like, hey, I missed the hook. Cool, I have to wait 8 seconds.
Right.
Nautilus is kind of one that I would recommend learning, just because he counters Yuumi, who's in every game. Brand Zyra do damage, so if you're not playing Pyke, like, they might be pretty good. What do you think of Brand Zyra?
I don't know how many games I've ever played of Brand. I used to play Zyra a lot when she was released. And then it was like late season 4, early season 5 that they finally like put her in the gutter with the Ashe Zyra when they finally like got rid of the Ashe Zyra comps, and I just hadn't picked her up since that point.
Okay. Other thing too.
I have played her some in a few normal games and a few special games, but I haven't picked her much in rank just because I tend to gravitate more towards utility or tank than I do towards damage.
Okay, if I was going to build you a champ pool knowing that, then let's not build damage ones. If Morg and Thresh are banned, I think you can play one of these every game, and it's probably fine. And if you play Morgana the way we talked about with the Mobies, with the Deep Wards, with the Spooky Ghosts looking to make picks, like, you'll have a little bit more success. Versus, like, the Zonias, where you're trying to be an AP carry with half the items. Nautilus Blitz, just because you're playing the hook champs, I would recommend. I would throw, like, Pyke in here, too, but if you just want to ban him every game, that's fine, too. Other options... if you have a hyper carry and you have a duo, like Lulu's great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the thing.
I've played Lulu in the past. I would alternate between Lulu and Karma. Back when enchanters were meta.
Yeah. And most people either love or hate her, but Yuumi is ridiculously strong right now.
Yeah, I should pick her up more. Like, I know how to play her. I just
she's one of those ones.
Put the effort into learning how to play her specifically for solo queue.
Yeah, she is very easy to play, hard to master, but she's a good one just because she's insanely strong. So, so again, I would look for something like this. Blitzcrank I would throw in here just because the change to his ability that lets him shatter shields is ridiculously strong.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
So if you're playing against one of those shield champions, he's a good one to learn. Also, you have all the Hook City champions anyway, so your brain is probably programmed to land his Q. Like, I would work him in. I would work Nautilus in, because very similar with the hook. Point and click ultimate. Low cooldowns, just really strong. Counters champions like this. Like, worth learning. And then Pyke, but again, you can just ban him every game, and that's fine too.
I'll probably eventually learn to play him because I got his skin from the box. But,
oh, nice.
I will. Yeah, he's somewhere on the thing right now. I'm just banning him just because I can't. I haven't learned to play him yet, and I can't leave him open ever. Even if I'm picking counter picks to him, it doesn't really matter. He just takes over the game.
Okay, but you should be fine with these two. Pick like one of these. Blitz is pretty easy to pick up. Nautilus is pretty easy to pick up. Like, you'll learn his combos in like one co-op versus AI game. Lulu, Yuumi, they're a little bit harder to play, but good if you need like some supporty supports. But I would recommend the Hook City champions here because those are the ones that are going to win you solo queue games. Versus like a Janna type playstyle where you're just like shielding somebody real good. You're looking for the active people making plays versus the passive ones reacting to people making plays. Like, the active will always win over enough games. Okay?
Okay.
So how's that YouTube video looking?
It's still finishing.
Okay. Do you want to play a game?
Yes. We can do that, or you can do a solo game if you want. Either or works for me.
Okay, I'm gonna stop screen sharing. Let me do that real quick. That should help the YouTube video along. What would you prefer?
Um, how about you play a solo queue game? That way, I'm not doing anything else that's running up the internet. It's just the YouTube. Can because like right now I've closed out my client just to have it load faster. So
Okay.
we can do that. I can sit and think if I have any more questions, and then you can get a warm up game in.
All right. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that then. So here, does this all make sense?
Everything you have said so far makes sense to me. In addition, what I have learned is to stop using blitz.gg for my stats.
Yeah, it is not accurate, in my opinion.
I mean, I guess so. I had been looking a bit at what Tryharder had been saying. It was the mid game. I think it was mid game fighting. It was just a massive tank in the numbers.
Oh no. Yeah, like some of the stuff I need to get better at, like translating this kind of thing to it. Like one of the devs, Largo, he's talking about, hey, I can just find the optimal items for every role champion to play. Like it's an easy math problem he was telling me, and I'm like, okay, do it. I thought that was hard because it changes every 2 weeks. So we might have that soonish, like in the next year.
My Tryharder is not working at the moment, so I can't see it. But my mid game fighting, essentially, is what I remember. Is it just absolutely was tanked.
Google Chrome just updated apparently, so it works in non-Google Chrome. We are fixing that right now.
Gotcha.
It like just happened earlier today, which is it pissed me off so much when I like saw that. Largo just showed me that. I was looking at that off screen. If you saw me like wince a little, but yeah, Google Chrome for whatever reason Tryharder is broken on that. I don't even know if I have like Internet Explorer on this computer. Let's see.
Firefox?
Tryharder.gg. Let's see how we look on Internet Explorer. Oh no. Don't want this. That's fine. Die. I hate you so much, Internet Explorer. I don't want to dox myself. Let me see if it looks good here. But yeah, we just saw that, which is shitty. So we're going to try to fix that real quick. It doesn't look too bad on IE. Video's cut off a little. We actually have it set up so I think if you're using like Internet Explorer, we recommend that you don't. It's not even supported. Okay, yeah, see, it doesn't even look good in this. But all the things are showing up. Yeah, Chrome just updated and ruined everything. Works on Firefox?
Yeah, Firefox is working.
Okay, good.
But yeah, like my mid-game fighting, I'm looking at Thresh specifically, but it just, like my early game fighting 63%, my late game fighting 73%, my mid game fighting's 44%.
Why?
So I mean it's telling me deaths, but I knew I was having a high amount of deaths, but I'm trying to figure out why specifically the 10 to 20 minute mark.
Probably
causing those deaths.
10 to 20 mark is when the enemy jungle is looking for those like bot lane ganks. Probably it's when fights over Dragon and Rift Herald matter a little bit more. It's when the map opens up and you get more people. I think it's like vision in the wrong place. Another thing those like deep wards do, it gives you proactive vision, so you have time to react, like more time, right? Like this will help you a lot. So aggressive wards, we went over the places there. Mobies, that'll keep you safe too. And then not shitty items that kill you, which might be why your deaths are happening. Spooky Ghost Rush. I'm telling you, Mobies, support item finish, Spooky Ghosts. On those two champions, every game is ridiculously good. It's stupid how good it is, and nobody's doing it. Except for some really good players that like winning more than they lose. That I can see in the stats that Tryharder collects, you know? But this is what I'd recommend, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to copy-paste this into Discord for you, and then we are waiting on your game to
video,
upload.
so then you can play a
Yeah, I'll play a warm-up game.
practice game, and we'll get it. Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that's the best idea.
Can I leave the call?
Yep.
All right. If you have other questions that you think of as soon as like we hang up, cool. Just bring them up when the video's done, and we'll take a break. Probably. Well, let's say if I like lose a game or something, we'll take a break and do it because I don't know how long your YouTube's gonna take.
I'll let you. Yeah, I'll post in chat as soon as it does.
Okay.
Uploaded.
Please do.
All right.
All right. Was this helpful?
Yeah. Even just this part is helpful enough because, again, as I figured, there are problems with my direct. Not even looking at what I'm doing, like physically doing in the game. My fundamentals, as you know, in and of themselves, are causing a problem.
Yeah.
And so, regardless of how I'm playing a game, if I'm approaching the game wrong, even if I execute correctly, it's executing the wrong thing. So this in and of itself was incredible.
Cool.
So
all right, I'm gonna do this for you too. I don't know if you're watching the stream, but I'm gonna go